Welcome you all for a virtual class. Today we'll see module 4, that is data and analysis for IoT. So this is for 8th semester IoT subject. And topics covered in this module. First is an introduction to data analysis for IoT. So in that section, we introduce subject of analysis for IoT and discuss the difference between structured and unstructured data. And it also discuss how analytics related to IoT data. So next topic is machine learning. So once you have a data, so that with respect to first type, that is data analysis, how you can gain business from that. So in this section, we'll deeply discuss about machine learning that is used to gain business with respect to IoT data. So next is big data analytics tools and technology. So in that, most commonly used term world is IoT, where we use big data, and also includes Hadoop, NoSQL, MapReduce, and MPP, so on. So next topic is edge streaming analytics. So this topic or this IoT requires data to be processed and analyzed close to the endpoints as much as possible. So next is network analytics, last topic with respect to data and analysis for IoT, where in this topic, we discuss about how exactly network is established and few analytics using flexible NetFlow in IoT system for a better understanding the function. So this is and again we'll discuss about security with respect to IoT network. So first we'll see the introduction to data analytics for IoT. So in the present world, in the present IoT world, the creation of data is very massive. That's what I'm mentioned in my slide, where the creation of massive amount of data from sensors is very common. So the biggest challenge is how we are going to maintain the data, how we are going to analyze the data. So that is what the major challenge in the present world. So the great example or the best example for this is aircraft sensors, where multiple sensors are used in a single aircraft, where each sensors produce a huge data within a given stipulated time. So let me continue my example. So latest jet engines are fitted with thousands of sensors, as I said now, and this sensor generates 10 GB of data per second, equipped with around 5,000 sensors. So this is how data will be generated in the modern jet engines. A twin engine commercial aircraft with 8 hours average a day, it works 8 hours average a day, and it generates over 500 TB of data daily. So this is how data will be generated. See, thousands of other sensors are used in order to generate a data in our aircraft system. And we have something called a jumbo jet is equipped with 10,000 sensors. So this is how data will be generated with the help of sensors, and that modern technology or the modern IoT world, for everything we go with IoT sensors to analyze or to fetch the data. So next, when you are going to deal with the data, you have to understand what kind of data it is. So we have two separate or two differentiate data, that is structured versus unstructured, or a structured data and unstructured data. As I'm showing in my diagram or my slide, structured data as a exact schema. So example, spreadsheets, database, and so on. Unstructured, it does not have a perfect schema, where it contains text, image, video, speech, and so on. So first we'll understand what is structured data. So structured data means data flow a model or a schema. Exact model or a schema is defined for structured data. So in this meaning, exact traditional relational database system fits to the structured database. We call it as RDBMS. In many cases, we feel or we will find structured data which is like a tabular form, for example spreadsheet, where a specific column is fitted for a specific purpose. So this is how we say a structured has perfect module or schema. Example, temperature sensor, pressure sensor, humidity sensors, and so on. So these sensors, whatever the data is generated by these sensors, will be fit into a specific cell which will be there at the back end. So this is how a structured is defined. So coming to unstructured, this is a lack of logical schema. There is no perfect schema for unstructured, as I said for structured. Example for this is text, speech, image, and video. And one more best example for unstructured is your email, where your email consists either a text, speech, image, video, and so on. And sometimes we also called as semi-structured. So your email is also called as semi-structured. So why? Because sometimes it acts as a structured data and sometimes it acts as a unstructured data, where unstructured data, it will not fit into any predefined data model as specified in structured format. And according to statistics, 80% of business data is unstructured. So next, structured data versus unstructured data. With respect to machine learning, such as natural language programming, we call it as NLP, we can decode speech. So example, image recognition, image or facial recognition, text extraction from any image, and any critical information still with video or audio, we'll use different kind of applications to extract the data. Smart objects with respect to IoT generates both structured and unstructured data. So next, when we understood with respect to data, that is either a structured data and unstructured data, next we have to understand whether you are fetching data with respect to motion or with respect to data at rest. So next heading is data in motion versus data at rest. As in most network, data in IoT network is either in transit, that is data in motion, or held or stored in data at rest. For example, so data at rest is nothing but your cloud or a database where exactly data will be stored. From there, you are fetching the data. Transit, example, your car sensor or a speed sensor, where it identifies the speed based on your present driving skill, that is a driving speed. So example again, client server exchange such as web browsing, file transferring, email. So these are all will comes under your motion sensors. And data saved, so as I said, we call it as a database or a cloud, where we use a hard drive to store the data, or any storage device or any USB device, and so on. So this kind of data will be called as data at rest. From an IoT perspective, the data from smart object is considered data in motion as passed through the network, a network route to a final destination, where data will be passed in network, where that network route our data to a final destination. We call it as data in motion. So next, when data is processed at the edge, means the base level, it may be filtered and deleted or forwarded. So all the operations that we need can be done at an early stage, where noise will be filtered, unwanted data will be deleted, and further it will be forwarded to next higher applications or higher processing for further processing. So this is also known as a fog node or a edge node, where it will be done at primary level. So when data arrives at the data center, it is possible to process in real time, just like Edge. So tools we use are like Spark, Storm, and Flink. So in order to process, delete, analyze, we use different kind of tools such as Spark, Storm, and Flink. Next, with respect to data at rest. So whenever you want to transfer a data, which is with respect to rest, so we'll use a concept of network, where we send data from one node to another node. So in order to transfer data from one node to another node, we want something called connectivity. We call it as a network. After connectivity, we call it as, we want something called bridge. We call it as a broker here, where it acts in between both source and destination. And the data will be sorted or stored in array at where data center is present. So for this, best tool we have is Hadoop concept. Next, Hadoop not only helps with data processing, but also it helps in data storage. So next, we'll speak about IoT data analytics overview. So it is typically broken down by the type of data processed. So we have 4 type of data analysis. The first one is descriptive analysis. Next is diagnostic analysis. Next, third one is predictive analysis. And the last one is prospective analysis. So we'll see the diagram with respect to the 4 type of data analysis. Next, we'll see in detail about descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prospective. So this is the data this is a diagram which shows a type of data analysis. As we are seeing three different layers. First layer, I'm speaking about data. Second layer, I'm speaking about big data technologies. And the third layer, I'm speaking about analysis. So here in first layer, so the data will be generated at the lower level. We call it as a fog node or a edge node, where exactly data will be generated. We use multiple sensors to generate the data. So it depends on the what kind of data will be generated by what kind of sensors that we are going to use. So in my data, I have different options like mobile internet, geological, machine, usage, email, video, social media, and so on. So all these are responsible to fetch the data. Once data is fetched, once data is ready with the sensor, next thing is I have to pass it to the upper layer. That is what big data technology. We use different technologies to collect the data, to integrate the data, to process, aggregate, and visualize. We do multiple options with respect to data. After getting data, after processing, after aggregate, after visualizing, we have to analyze what is the kind of data and what kind of measures I want to take with respect to my data. So that is with respect to descriptive. What is happening? So the meaning of descriptive is what is happening. Next, we have diagnostic. Why did that happen? Predictive. What is likely to happen? Next is prospective. What should I do for that? So we will take small example with respect to a car or any truck. Assume I have one sensor in my truck. This sensor will say about my oil pressure in the truck. As days goes on, as oil get decreased in my truck, so the sensors will start giving the data. So this is a level of oil in your truck. So what is happening? So this is a descriptive. So still I have oil, sufficient oil to flow my truck or to drive my truck. So I feel that it is okay by seeing the data. What is happening? I got some result. I got some value with my sensor with respect to oil in my truck. Next, suddenly some kind of engine got failed. Suddenly your truck temperature got heated. So next thing what I'll do is, why did it happen? So I may miss to calculate, I may miss to see the sensor with respect to oil. So that is, we'll think about diagnostic. Why did it happen? So that my temperature or my truck temperature got increased. Next, we have something called predictive. What is likely to happen? So if my oil keep on decreasing and if my truck engine temperature keep on increasing, what it may happen? So sometimes engine may fail, sometimes engine may stop, and many other things may happen. So this is how predictive. We are predicting before problem occurring. Next, perspective. What should I do about it? If it so happen, what I want to do for that? So that is what the future solution we are finding for the problem. So next we'll see descriptive. First one is descriptive. Where descriptive, as I said, what is happening either now or in the past. Again, for example, truck a temperature value, where if the temperature value is too high, then there may be a cooling problem or the engine may be experiencing too much load. So this is what is happening. Next, diagnostic, why it had happened. So as continuing with the same example, whether it might be why the truck engine failed, why the temperature sensor in the engine got failed. So diagnostic. So for this diagnostic is, might slow the temperature of engine was too high, so that engine overheated. So this is diagnostic. Next, predictive. So predictive, the analysis aims to foretell the problems or issue before they occur. Like for example, so historical values of temperature of truck, we are going to predict with the old values, like comparing if this is a my truck temperature or this is the engine temperature. If it goes to peak, automatically we need to get some conclusion that if it increases, truck engine may fail. So this corresponds to that productive replaced before failure occur, so that I may stop my truck or I may replace my truck or I may leave for a maintenance or for my engine or my truck. So this is how proactively replaced. So this we call it as a predictive. Next is prospective, a step beyond predictive and recommends a solution. If a predictive analysis or a prospective analysis of the temperature data from your truck engine might calculate various alternatives to cost effective maintain over the truck. So if we get solution before, we may leave for a maintenance, we may go with efficient management or efficient maintaining of truck. So next, both predictive and prospective analysis are more resourcely intensive and increase complexity. Is greater the value for descriptive and diagnostic value. So by this, we may have a premature solution or a solution for the problem which may occur in future. So we'll see how they rank with respect to complexity. So this is a diagram with respect to x-axis, y-axis. It shows the rank with respect to complexity. First rank goes to descriptive. We have to analyze what had happened. Next is diagnostic, and the next is predictive, and the last one is prospective. So this graph shows the complexity rank with respect to different type of data analysis. So next we have something called the challenges. So different challenges with respect to IoT data analysis. The first challenge is the scaling problem. So due to large number of smart objects, in a more IoT network, so that continuously send the data, relational database can grow incredibly large. So this is again scaling problem with respect to data generation. So data will be generated more and more with respect to the sensors we increase to fetch the data. So this can be resulted in performance issue that can be costly to resolve also. So next is volatility of data. With relational database, it is critical that schema be designed correctly. And due to lack of flexibility, revision to the schema, most of the get as minimum. So IoT, however, it is a volatile data model is likely to change and evolve. The meaning of volatile databases, it is very critical to maintain the designed or a schema which will be designed correctly. So it should be a very flexible, so that once the data is fetched again, is there any changes, we have to do that. That kind of flexibility should be provided for the data. And this is again one kind of a challenge with respect to data analysis is volatile. So in order to overcome or in order to deal with that kind of a challenge, we go with different type of database, so known as NoSQL is being used, where SQL is a computer language used to communicate with RDBMS. So, and it is not set up with a traditional tabular form of relational database. So next, NoSQL database do not enforce a strict schema. This is how we can achieve flexibility with respect to data challenge or with respect to volatility. And they support for a complex evolving of data and are also incredibly much more scalable. The streaming of data, which generates a smart object, transmit data. So example is your live streaming of data. Again, there is no strict schema for live streaming. It may depends or it may varies how exactly the sensor is fetching the data, and it becomes usually a very high value with respect to size, and it should be and only if it is possible to analyze and respond to it real time. So this is how we can go with valuable with respect to NoSQL kind of database. So the market of analyzing streaming data in real time is growing very fast. So for this, analytic providers such as Google, Microsoft, IBM have streaming offering various other applications can be used. So another challenge with respect to IoT is a network data, which is referred as network analysis in the field of network. So thank you.